Welcome to Conscious Business Talks. This is Amber Mirza, and I'm so thrilled we are here together this Thursday because I really missed you last Thursday when I could not go on. And even though they say the show must go on, it literally didn't go on last week, did it? So I'm actually feeling really grateful that today I am here, you are here, and the show is going on. So today, I was going to talk about something else, and instead, what came up for me to actually share is different from what I originally planned. But this, I think, is just what it needs to be, because we're coming up to Christmas, we're coming up to the holidays, there is all this stress, strain, division, amongst all the fun and awesome stuff, but definitely there is a lot of weight that people are carrying these days too. I know I'm feeling it. I know I was feeling it a week ago. I was feeling it yesterday. And even though I get myself recentered, regrouped, regrounded, and focused on the things I need to, the weight, I was still feeling it. So I know that when you combine it with all the usual stuff that goes around as we roll up closer to the end of the year, definitely towards Christmas, the New Year's, and the holidays, there is an extra little bit of everything that adds to the mix. So I want to just make sure that I think, since I'm not here seeing any comments to the contrary, I'm thinking today we're good to go and everybody can hear me. So if you don't mind, just drop me a quick line to say we're cool. But I'm going to assume we are until I hear otherwise, so I'll continue on. But okay, awesome. Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the interesting bit of what I wanted to share with you is I was trying to juggle a whole bunch of things. Yeah, what's new about that, right? But I was trying to juggle a whole bunch of things because the end... Well, thank you. Matt likes the blue lights. He says the blue lights are awesome as well. Well, that's cool. Because see, I'm like, the Conscious Business Talks, we have our blue and our yellow. So I'm like, we're going to have blue lights. And actually, it was Ramon who added the touch. So I'll say thank you to him. But I got to confess, as I was trying to pack what needs to be taken care of from a family side, balance what is the work side, and also the creative side that is always interesting and part and parcel of what I want to bring into the world, because it's important for me to see what else can go on, right? How can I improve what we are doing? How we can add more value to what we're bringing into the world. So because of that, you need to... Matt says I need to wear my blue glasses. I was thinking about it. I actually had them on, then I took them off. They're not actually blue. They're more teal than blue. See Sean's hair? I didn't see her, but that's really cool if she is. Anyway, as I was trying to balance all of this, I noticed that I was sabotaging my sleep. My evening routine, I was deliberately pushing the limits of that. And granted that I told myself that that's where I was fitting in some of the things, as my dad was getting close to being discharged from the hospital, and I was putting in, all the things that need to be in place for him to safely transition home. And because, anyway, all those things, I'm like, oh, this is where I can fit in, right? I can pack in some work. I can just get a little bit more things looked after here, knowing full well that from a depleted well, I cannot really sustain or nourish any of the different facets of my life that are important to me, right? My creativity doesn't show up as strong. And two different people, two very, very smart, wise people in my life actually used the same phrase. They said, you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I'm like, what are the chances two different people in different parts of the world both pick up on the same thing when I think I'm being my usual bouncy self, right? What are the chances? So, but as they did, and here I am thinking I'm letting go of all of the things, I'm delegating, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And yet that feeling of weight was definitely there. But I thought the weight was there. And very likely that part of it was there because I was not getting enough self-care dialed in. I was not looking after my sleep as much. But the rest of it, it didn't quite factor in, right? And then I had a talk with someone who's a wise friend, my coach, and just a very dear person in my life. And she did an impromptu little session with me because we were looking at what is it that could be so simple and yet is showing up as so complicated in life. And she was saying to me things that I'm like, yeah, well, I know that. I say that. And the funny thing is, she asked me a couple of times whether I really, that yes, I could see, but could I really see? And believe it or not, there is a difference. And then she asked me, she's like, is it possible that you don't see how tightly you're holding on to things and you don't really want to let go? And that was really weird for me to hear because I'm like, no, I'm not holding on tightly at all to anything. I'm letting go, but I can't let go because some things that I let go, it kind of just crashes, and I can't do that, especially with my dad's health or with my mom's, whatever the things that I was putting in place for the family side of things. And I said, I can't do that because the cost is too high of dropping the ball there. And yet, as I looked at it more and I really listened to myself and what was the truth inside of me, I realized that I wasn't really letting go. And even though I said I wanted to let go, and boy, wouldn't it be nice if I could just let go. And of course I wanted to let go. I realized, no, I wasn't quite ready to let go because I was afraid. I was afraid to let go. I was afraid to trust life being able to take care of itself on its own. And when you put it in those terms, it seems so silly. It seems so silly. I am not God. I know life is bigger than me. I know things are going to be just peachy fine whether I'm here or not, holding on to the reins so tightly. And I know that everything is not in my control. Everything outside of me operates independently of me. Can I impact it with what I do? For sure. But can it continue to go on without me holding on this tightly to the reins? And the answer is, of course, it will. The being that made it possible for all of us to be here, that creator being, has the system dialed in pretty beautifully. Sometimes all it takes is for us to get out of the way and for things to resume their natural balance. But in our way of looking at things, in my way of looking at things, I have to put that and take care of that and make sure it's okay. Because of course it wouldn't be okay without me doing this, and this. And the more I looked in that direction, the more I put my attention and the light of focus on it, the more it made me smile, because it seemed so innocent, and yet it was so hilarious and so cute that I thought that I really had to hold on that tightly. And to be afraid to just trust that it would be okay. The people I love would be okay. My clients, my work, everything would be okay if I just took a breath and created the space just so I could show up with the best of me. Allow my creativity to show up in the space and not weigh myself down to the point that I forgot that there's a part of me that's deliberately sabotaging it because of the stress I'm putting on the situation. So as we're coming up to the holidays, it's really important for me to share that, because I wondered that now, when you see something, you cannot unsee it. Sometimes, sure, we choose not to see. Sometimes we forget what we saw. But once you see, you see. And once you see, it's a little bit easier for you to have compassion for and seeing that in somebody else. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, when I look at my business, when I look at my clients, when I look at the way I show up, when I trust the process more, when I trust the nature of things more, when I trust that what is in place and who is in place, we are all creative, immensely capable beings. That means we are capable of finding our way through all the complication. But sometimes what it takes is for us to change the thought. And the funny thing is, I don't know if I have ever shared anything by Sydney Banks, but it reminded me of something that I heard him say, and he was sharing about the level of consciousness. And he was talking about the stress and the strains that we add into our life because we forget that a lot of what we think of as fact, as the truth, is just, in fact, a thought, a belief. It is not the truth. It is not fact, because truth takes care of itself. It shows up in my work, and it's undeniable. But the thought that I'm putting in place affects the filter through which I see and the complications then that I introduce in that. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but it was so emotional for me to see just how all the weight I was feeling was a creation of my thought and my not seeing that. And I don't know if any of you know Russell Brunson, but he has, the one funnel away challenge. And it's like, you're just one funnel away from your, from what it is that you're trying, from hitting it, from making it, from having your work translate into the success you're after. And it's that one thought away. And Sid Banks actually said something about you're one thought away, and it cracked me up because it was so close to the one funnel away. But it's true. You're just one thought away from connecting with the truth, because the rest of it kind of just collapses when you see And once you see, you're recentered and refocused on where your attention should be instead of what you're making it to be. Does this make sense? Okay, I'm going to see who's all here. Okay, Zishan is here. Hello, it is so good to see you. Oh, and Andy is here. Awesome. Great to have both of you. Okay, I don't think Santa looks weird. I think Santa looks jolly and fun. And I love Christmas because there are all these beautiful lights around. How can you not be happy with all those beautiful, gorgeous, happy lights all around you, right? Again, that's how I see it. It makes me happy to see all that, all the sparkling lights. And letting go of our perceptions of truth is hard to do. Ooh, I like how you put that, because truth with a capital T, right? Truth is just present. And when you are in the presence of truth, it's hard to deny it. But the perception of truth is not necessarily truth. The perception of the premises we put around it is often taught. And Sid also said something that I thought was really profound, because he said that in order to step away from the stress and the strain and the complications and all the things that are creating the hell in our life, so to speak, because it's the thought that creates the situation, the form, which in fact we then experience as hell, right? Because things are so ew around us and we're like, oh, cannot stand this. But you cannot change that with that thought that you already have in place. In order to change your experience, you have to change where you are on and which level of consciousness you're on, right? If you're on a lower level of consciousness, that's where all the fear and the anger and the jealousies and all of those things are. And then there is a higher level of consciousness which connects you to everybody and allows you to see truth, allows you to change the experience you have. So it really is interesting for me when I think about, the thought, the mind, and the consciousness, and how those three principles allow you to change your reality in an instant. Literally in an instant. Because it's one thought that changes your experience. It allows you to see, and once you see, you cannot unsee. When you see how you are responsible for creating what you are in your workplace, in your business, for your team, for what you're producing and sharing and exchanging as value with your clients, with your suppliers, with anybody who interacts with your business, in your personal life, with your family, with your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your children, whoever, wherever you are in your life. That thought is literally a thought, and you can change a thought. The answers I started to understand, as he was saying, are not in the past. They're not in the past. The past is past. And we remain stuck in the past, even though we're now in the now moment, in the present, because we're blaming the past for how we are showing up in the present. I cannot create with my best, with the beauty of the creative soul that's in me, if I am choosing to stay in the past, blaming the past for how I'm showing up in the present, in the now. But the now is all that exists right now. And it's in the now that I can sow the seeds of what will be tomorrow and the future. But all I have right now is the now. Is that enough now for now? Well, it doesn't matter if you joined late. I'm truly thrilled that you're here. Thank you for being here, Andy. And Matt says, one thought away from truth. What a great way to think of it. It really resonated with me when I thought one thought away. Like the power, the freedom, like seriously, the bliss of that realization. Oh my God, I felt lighter than light because I'm like, it's just a thought. It's just a thought. I'm one thought away from the experience I really want to have. One thought away from the creation I want to create. From what I want to bring into this world and share with people. From what I want my business to reflect and share with people. What I want other business owners to see and create in their own life and their own business. How cool is that? I wonder if consciousness is like security levels. Yes, there are levels, but at the top there are no more levels, just different ways to perceive the information. I love the image that brings to my mind. The perceptions, the premises that we bring into form, into our reality. The premises color how we perceive things. I spoke with somebody I love very much, like so close to my heart. And as we were exchanging information and our thoughts, I realized that they were so committed to being in the past, to identifying with the past, that it was really hard for them to see that the present was actually quite different. The things that were happening in the past were no longer true in the present. But it was almost as if I could see that they had tied their identity, their suffering, so much to what happened in the past that I think on some level they didn't want to let it go, because what would it then mean to have suffered so much in the past and not to have anything to justify it? Revenge is a strong word, but almost like, something to make up for that. And yet I thought to myself, as I saw that, so much compassion, as I understood that it was literally a cage of thoughts, because the suffering that was then was now being inflicted by this person I love so much on themselves, because the past was no longer true. It was gone. But the present, the suffering was still there. But the suffering was self-made up, because now the thought could change, the level of consciousness could change, and hence the hell that was didn't have to be a hell that is. And this person is so freaking creative. Like the stuff that they bring into this world when they're feeling full of light and joy and space and freedom, the stuff they bring into into creation, into this world, is freaking insanely beautiful. But they're not, because these days, especially with all the other stuff that's going on, they're caught up in the was and not present to the is. And that breaks my heart, because the way out of dark is not by bringing more dark in. The way out of dark is to shine a light. Whether you're in your business, whether you're in your personal life, it's the same life. It's just different aspects of your life. And how you're showing up also depends on how much light you're willing to bring into the experience you're having. And being sometimes brutally honest with what's keeping you in a particular experience, and having the courage to step into it and experience the truth of it. We all suffer our past, but if we realize this when we are one thought away from changing our truths, there is truth is fact, right? And you cannot argue with fact. And the funny thing is, there are lots of things that we color as facts because we're like, this is the evidence, this is fact. And yet, the truth I'm talking about is the truth that you feel right here. And there is no denying what it feels like. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and allow yourself to settle into the feeling of what truth feels like, of whatever it is that you're trying to ascertain. It is whatever it is that you're trying to grapple with. You will see the truth of it when you allow yourself to connect with the now. Allow yourself to just be present with what it feels like, where it feels like. Be one with your body and see. And then the funny thing is that when you're in that space, when you are connected, the wisdom of all that is allows you to create on a level that is insane. I've had more freaking ideas come for my business and what I wanted to create for my clients and with my clients. It is like, it's actually kind of insane. And I'm like, what changed? What changed? Like, I haven't done anything different, but I kind of have. I allowed myself to see. And it's like, that relief that your body and mind and spirit just all in alignment breathes and settles into, because it's like, and with that, you just release the space to be creative with. So I'm going to wrap up with that today, because I want you to please think about, is there something that you are holding on so tightly to, and just so desperately tightly to, that you cannot see the truth of it? And it's okay wherever you are with that, and it's okay if you're not ready to let go. But it is so wonderful to see and to be with that truth. And the more you see, the more you continue to look in that direction, the more the path opens up to maybe being able to just be okay with letting go and trusting life. I'm going to ask you to share this thought with someone you care for. And if you found anything of value and of interest in what I shared and how I shared it, then please share this message, this video, and this channel with somebody you love. and care for, or perhaps even a stranger that you see struggling. Because how cool is it to come towards the end of this year and wrap it up with something so energizing and so powerful. And by the way, on Monday, I'm going to come live and I'm going to share a link with you guys because today, just on the spur of the moment, I came up with something that I think is going to be freaking amazing going over and beyond the holidays. Okay. I don't want to spill the beans, but I think it is going to make such a huge freaking difference this holiday season over this Christmas, right? So tune in on Monday night because I don't usually, I'm coming out on Thursdays, but I gotta do this on Monday just so you guys can see what I cooked up. And I might not be able to stay put and I might share the link earlier, but check it out and share your thoughts with me because I really, like last year, I dropped the recharge challenge, just before Christmas. And granted, I dropped that a little bit later. We're still a few days away from that, but this ties into the same idea, kind of, but in a very different way. So tune in on Monday and share this with me just because I would love to know your thoughts. Okay, have a great night. Have a great day wherever you are. And I'm going to see you Monday. I'm counting on that. And whether you watch it on a replay or you watch it live, I want to know your thoughts about it. Okay, I'll see you soon. Cheers. 8:30 Eastern, Monday night. And I think that would be the 20th.